So cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers to episode 3.
Episode 3? Oh my gosh.
3?
Yes.
1,
4.
2.
2 out. 1 coming out tomorrow.
We have 2 out.
And then 1's coming out tomorrow?
Is that the 3rd one?
Yeah.
So this is our 4th one.
Our 4th one.
Episode 4.
It's episode 4. Cheers. Ooh.
And the synergy is synergizing. I feel like the synergy is synergizing.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
Me too.
Cool. So, I'm interested to have a little game for us to play. Well, your game. I'm going to give you the props where the props are due. And we're going to play a game called Swipe on Your Childhood Crush. I think we should do 3 categories.
Okay.
So we can do cartoon. We can do music.
Ooh.
And we can do film.
Okay.
And then maybe we can do like hometown.
Ooh. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Let's definitely do hometown. Okay, we're keeping the hometown in.
Okay. Wow, 1 person per category?
Yeah, one.
Oh my God. Okay. First category.
First category, cartoon.
There's so many to choose from, but I'll say Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom, from where?
From the show Danny Phantom on Nickelodeon. He's so cute. And the lore goes that he is a trans boy.
Oh.
And what's the show? So Danny Phantom, his parents are like ghost catchers.
Yeah.
And they built this like big machine, but he went inside of it and like zapped him. So he was like half boy, half ghost. He can like turn into the ghost.
Okay.
And go into a ghost realm.
Hence Phantom.
And then he fights all the ghosts that are coming through. So that's him as like...
Oh, I know this.
Yeah, I
this guy.
had the biggest crush on him.
Danny Phantom, swipe left or swipe right? I'd swipe right. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, I was right. Okay, cool.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So my cartoon crush was number 5 from Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh, yes.
Wore a baggy t-shirt, which also kind of caveated as a dress, which I thought was a very neat kind of in-betweener. The hat, this like mysterious, but also like outwardly rebellious and active and like no F's given at all at any moment. And then like cool and like too cool to do other things, like knew their own boundaries, understood their own boundaries, and moved the way that they wanted to move. I love it. And I'm giving them they, them pronouns because that's how I saw them when I was younger. I was like, I fuck with you. And that would be me.
Yes. Yeah. Number 5 made me feel things. I was like, I can't even. You're so cool.
So cool.
Like, you're so cool, number 5.
So cool.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd swipe right or number 5.
Yes, I would.
Okay, cool. Second category is music.
The Jonas Brothers.
Okay. Oh yeah, I was saying childhood. Yes.
Childhood, yes. Swipe right or swipe left.
For me, the Jonas Brothers.
Specifically, Joe was my favorite.
I don't even know which one that was.
Good for you. He's the eldest.
Okay.
Singer.
I'd swipe left.
I understand.
I'd swipe left. I don't know if I'm judging now or then, but I'd swipe left. I wasn't crazy about the Jonas Brothers.
I was. Like me and my friend had like all the posters like up on her room, and we used to like film like music videos in my basement. And like when the Burning Up music video came out, it like shook us to our core. Wow. It was amazing. Selena Gomez was in it. It was like, wow. It was amazing. Selena Gomez, was it Miley Cyrus? No, it was Selena Gomez. Because Nick and Miley had just broken up, and she wrote 7 Things I Hate About You. It was like a whole. I was in the Disney pop
I love 7 Things I Hate About You. Oh my goodness, you need to remind me of that. I need to listen to that song again. So swipe left for me. Childhood crush. Child. What age would I have been? Child. Corbin.
Corbin Blue.
Corbin Blue from High School Musical.
Yes.
1000%.
Love that for you.
1000%. Would you swipe left
swipe
or
right?
Swipe right.
Yeah, he's a cutie.
Beautiful.
He like has walked so that so many more could run. I love him.
Yeah, he's
And
awesome.
in the High School Musical, the series TV show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a really good show, honestly.
I haven't watched it.
Good.
Okay.
But it's on Disney, so I'm boycotting. But if you want to find it online legally,
Do it.
good show.
Do it. Film.
Film.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go first.
Yeah.
Only because I was watching all of the movies that my sisters are watching. Taye Diggs. Yeah. Taye Diggs.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, yeah.
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 Gorgeous, gorgeous man.
Gorgeous man.
Wow.
Gorgeous man. Taye
Swipe
Diggs.
right.
Sometimes when he was acting, it annoyed me and like the roles that he did, but overall, 10 out of 10.
Love.
Yeah.
Wow.
You'd swipe right?
I would swipe right.
Okay.
And then going off that, I guess I'll say like there's like like Morris Chestnut and Shamar Moore.
Ooh.
Yeah, just like at the same time, the same level.
Wow.
Shamar Moore in Diaries of a Mad Black Woman.
Did the thing.
I mean,
Hot.
come on. His like terrible cornrow wig is so good.
The cornrow wig is hilarious. I would swipe right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would swipe right. I forgot what I was thinking about them. I would swipe right. Yeah.
Yes.
And then hometown.
I'm going to assume that no one from my hometown listens to this podcast before we begin.
And then it's just only the people from your
I'm
hometown.
crying. No, there was this guy, maybe I shouldn't say his name. We can bleep it out.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
just like a cool name. And he was just like one of like the popular rich kids.
Yeah.
And we just like had this like thing going like all of a sudden. And you know, like, he's like this white boy. And anyway, we just like I used to work at the library. I was like a nerdy theater kid and I was there studying. And when like all of his like posse and clique like came and like sat with me and I felt like I was being tested. And
Whoa.
I can't say I passed the test because my anxiety was like high. We would like flirt and like steal his hat. And, like he'd like come, there's like a whole, the theory, like if you steal a guy's hat and he chases you, he likes you. If he doesn't chase you, he doesn't like you. So we'd like steal his hat, basketball on the court.
God.
And then on prom, we slow danced together and he like cried. He was like, this is like the best day of my life. And I know he was high as fuck. I'm sure he was like coked out, okay? But I was like, ooh. And then we like used to chat and text. So we both went to different schools across the country.
Yeah.
And I ran into his girlfriend in the elevator in Toronto last summer.
Okay.
And I did not say a thing. And I don't think she recognized me.
Yeah.
I recognized her because they're still together from high school.
Okay.
A lot
Wow.
of couples from my high school are still together.
Wow.
So
Fruitful
that's-
high. Okay. Talking about hat stealing, I have a side story. So when I my life stories make me laugh because they're so nuts. Like, what is even happening in my life? But in any case, so I was in high school. I think we were in grade 9. I was in a Catholic school. So we went to this retreat for everybody to make their promise to Jesus that they will abstain from sex. It was like an abstinence camp. So we went to abstinence camp.
Wow.
Grade 9. And what they did is they shocked you with like all these horrible pictures of like gonorrhea, all of these STIs and STDs and what they look like and manifest as exactly. And then they showed us a video of an abortion. Yes. Which was nuts. So
what kind of abortion?
I think it was a hanger abortion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which was like, be completely terrified. Don't ever want to do any other stuff. So cool, whatever. We did that in the morning. No, we had mass in the morning. Then we did that. And then we had lunch. And then, so we obviously, because it's Catholic, we were separated. So the boys on one side, the girls on one side. And like of the dorms and whatever. But there was other schools there. And there was this all-girls school there. So cool, whatever. You know, I was dating this guy at the time. His name is Guy Noel, and or Guy Noel, from the DRC. He's so hot. Actually follows me still.
Oh.
In any case, that's my childhood crush in any case. But so then this chick, so given your story of stealing the hat means a guy likes you if he chases you or not if he doesn't chase you. So there's like, this is a huge camp and I'm like at the bottom of the field hanging out with a whole bunch of my other friends, and at the top of the field is the basketball courts that you can kind of see from there, but it's really hard to see what's happening. In any case, the guys were playing basketball and some of these girls from the all-girls school were there. And then all of a sudden I just hear, Palisa, Palisa. And I just hear footsteps. It's like a group of people running down to tell me that this girl had taken my boyfriend's hat or whatever. And they were like, yeah, she took the hat. She took the hat.
Time to throw hands.
Yeah. They're like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? She took the hat. She took the hat. I said, okay, well, let's go see what's happening. So then we walk up. Obviously, I'm walking in the front. Everyone's walking behind me, like droves of people walking behind me. So we get to the courts and whatever. And then we're right in the middle of the court and everybody circles us. And it's me, my boyfriend at the time, and this girl here. And she comes through the crowd and she brings me the hat. She said, I just wanted to give this back to you, whatever. And she gets her on her knees and stuff. And she's just like, I just want to be your friend. Like, I didn't mean to, whatever.
Were you popular?
No, fuck no. At all. I was the opposite of popular. I was going to tell you another story, but I was the opposite of popular in school. The opposite of popular. Okay. Absolute opposite of popular. I think it was just coincidental that it was that situation.
Yes.
And so I didn't throw hands, obviously. Yeah. I didn't feel like I needed to, because
she's begging on her knees, scared for her life.
But even besides that, like, weird, and no, we're not going to be friends, but like also weird, like. And so I asked him, I was like, why did you let her take your hat or whatever? He's like, oh, I wasn't paying attention, whatever. I said, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I walked away and sat on the bench with my friends and everybody dispersed. But then there was this other girl. Her name is Felicia. Felicia was a less beat the shit out of people. And so in the kitchen, she stole a plastic knife. And she comes up to me in the middle of the night. She's like, do you want me to go shank her? I said, no, Felicia, don't do that. I said, no.
That's a ride or die.
I said, there's no need to do that. You don't need to go fight her like that. I'm really not bothered. But yeah. It was a cute little like spotlight on me moment, movie dramatic scene moment. Yes. But other than that, no, in high school I definitely was not. I was the opposite, the complete opposite of popular. But in any case, yeah.
I guess.
My childhood crush. Yes, so my childhood crush. My childhood crush is, obviously we'll bleep it out. And yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'll swipe right.
Awesome.
Do you swipe right on
Oh. No. I swipe left.
Good for you.
Yeah, I swipe left. Yeah. No. Okay. Lol. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sound on Siren podcast. Hello, Adonis.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm pretty good, actually. I feel like this Libra eclipse, this like Aries season, I'm feeling like really revved up. It's feeling nice.
I feel that. Yeah. I feel very revved up too. I feel like I'm feeling the fire of it.
Yes.
You know, like, yeah, I'm feeling the fire of it. Yeah. And then I'm feeling the balancing of the Libra, you know? It's very interesting. It's been very introspective for me, very reflective, without being too much in my head as well.
Yes.
It's been nice.
It's
been nice. And last weekend, I got my first massage ever.
Ever?
Like my first professional massage ever.
Oh my God, what kind?
Siam SIAM massage, which is like to calibrate your muscles in your body, but also energetically. And so, oh my God, that masseuse, first of all, her hands were soft. It should be illegal to have hands that soft. Ha! Wow!
It's oiled all day.
What is happening? Soft, 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 soft. And just like everything was so good. The pressure. At one point, she like lowered the bed all the way down and she like climbed on top of me. And she used her knees and her knuckles and stuff like that to like knead my body. I said, wait, I need this.
Wow.
I need this kneading.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
it was
love
incredible. I was in love. And then stretched me. Like, I was like, stretch me in some pretzel way. I said, nobody folds me into a pretzel. What? I was like, I thought they were folding me. Nah.
No, not like
Nobody's
that.
folded me before.
Wow.
Nobody's folded me before this moment. So it was fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
I would recommend it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Siam massage.
Yeah, the Siam massage at the Sabai Thai Spa.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was so good. Oh my gosh. I'm reliving it right now. So good.
They're so good. They're like so
delicious.
Expensive, but I try to do one on my birthday.
Yeah, I got a
when I
voucher
can. Yeah.
from my friend. That was so good.
Once I was like, I hold a lot of tension in my body, as many of us do. But my friend gave me a massage once, and I cried because it was just like such a big release. It was one of my like first massages. I felt kind of bad. I was like sobbing. They were like, "Oh, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a lot stored up in here." Yeah, it doesn't happen anymore. So, yeah.
Okay. It's very interesting for me because I grew up in a household of not necessarily massagers, but like we would. When I say my parents are very hands-on in our healing process, like very hands-on, like, you know, if you had twisted your ankle or whatever the case is, my dad would rub you. And my dad has strong hands. He has strong hands. Like when I say, like there's... I'm remembering the one time that I got slapped in my chest. My whole world stopped. I felt like my soul went right back out and right back in.
By your dad?
Yes. It was intense, but he has strong hands. So when he like, you know, is massaging you and stuff like that, it hurts quite a bit. And then when he's done, it's like so much better.
Wow.
So much better. So much better. So, yeah, so we used to rub each other. I used to stand on him when I was a little kid, stand on his back and crack his back as well. And there was a lot of cracks.
Yes.
A lot of cracks. And I did it till I was like 10, 11. Then I was like, nah, I'm cool now.
Yeah, same. Mom's like, get on me. I'm like, I know. If you die from doing this, I will actually never recover. I'm good.
Yeah, because I started, me too, started to get too scared that I would crush my dad, you know, or like step on something that was, I said, no, it's cool. You have to find someone else to do it.
Yeah. I got cousins. It's fine.
Yeah, or like a professional at this point.
Yes.
Yeah. But today
we're talking about love and dating, part 2, and there will probably be many more parts because we love and dating is wild and there's lots to kind of wade through.
Absolutely. There's lots to share. Yeah.
And you also asked us some questions. So we've got audience questions we will discuss today. So excited. And we will see where this conversation takes us.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Do you want to ask our first question?
Okay, our first question. So,
and obviously these will be anonymous.
Okay, let's go with, do you believe in marriage?
Do you believe in marriage? This is a really great question for me because I have been married before, which is not all it's cracked up to be. But I would say that I do not believe in, and I guess the idea of believing in marriage is to believe in the institution that is marriage, right? I think in the way that I had initially gone into marriage with my, one of my previous partners. I think I had believed in some way that, marriage is like a graduation. That once you're ready to marry somebody, that is kind of what sets the precedent for getting married. And so when we got married, I thought that there would be this like energetic shift in some way, transformative shift, but even in the nature of our relationship, even in the context and the content of our relationship, I thought that something would change, that there would be this growth, almost like this deepness, that I'd always seen and been taught that marriage does, and can be. Then we got married and things went downhill. So like, we got married and things went downhill. But I think that things went downhill as well because we weren't both approaching this idea of marriage in the same way. We had never spoken about how we define marriage, what we think a marriage is, because there's a wedding and then there's a marriage. And for me, I think what it's taught me now is that the title does not mean the context of the relationship is there. I think it's more important to have the context of the relationship, for your relationship to feel like a relationship before you call it a relationship. Right? For your friendship to feel like a friendship before you call it a friendship, right? For your relationship to feel like a marriage, like a long, committed, deeply seated, deeply rooted experience already. That is all of these things. And that when you are moving forward to marriage, because it is an institution, now you are doing the bank accounts, you're putting legal stuff into it and all that kind of stuff, because that's just what that step is in its technical form, right? But you back here, when you're not signing, when you have your marriage certificate in hand and the wedding is over, this now has to be a marriage. But I think that happens long before you get the married label on it. And so do I believe in marriage? No, because I don't believe we need to put the government in our business, because you have to pay to get married and you have to pay to get a divorce, which is like, again, more money that's just going out. And I'm like, why must I pay you for this stuff? But I think I believe more, or I am open to the context of what a committed marriage looks like without having to get married necessarily. But I will say that I didn't have all of the experience of like our traditional ways of getting married when I got married the first time around. So if there is somebody who I'm going to marry, it has to be a very deeply cultural person, just like myself. And we will do the full cultural Nelly. I'm not talking about a white wedding. I'm talking about the traditional days and months of preparation and talking and the coming together of families and cultures and traditions. I want to have that. I want to experience that. Yeah, I want to have that. So if you want to marry me, that's what you got to do.
Yes.
If you want to be my husband, maybe you want to be my partner, things will last forever if we do it the cultural way. If you want to be my partner, maybe you could be my husband. Maybe you could be my metamor. Who knows, I might explore.
Word. I love that answer. I feel very similarly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I believe in the ceremony of marriage, and the event of like union day, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like my wedding will be like really spiritual and like, but do I want the government in my business? No. Do I think legal work is annoying? Yes. If I want to adopt in like a queer relationship, will I probably have to be married? Yes. So, like my partner got a brain injury last April and we were trying to get on disability for them, but they asked us if we were in a marriage-like relationship. And we were like, well, what does that mean? And they said, are you living together? And do you present as a couple?
Oh, wow.
We were like, Yeah. Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Not if you're homophobic, I guess. Huh? But we are. So we're like technically in a marriage-like relationship. And we want to and are moving towards and are in that like lifetime commitment to each other.
Yeah.
So like in a way, I'm like, we already are married.
Fair.
That's my fiance. That's my husband. That's my hubby.
Let's go.
That's my cutie patootie pie. Yes, but marriage is an institution. The roots of it all, like, well, it's a business transaction, and that's not what I'm here for. But love and like coming into it together, 100%. And I've really been like, we can't get married until we've dated for at least like 7 years, because most relationships end in the 7-year mark.
Oh, really?
That's when most things end. Yeah.
Oh, I made it beyond the average.
You did.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, if we can make it, why sign papers before a very clear possible
We're like, let's
ending?
base this on science.
You know, let's just wait. Because I think it's, why not? We're living a life together, so.
Already.
Yeah.
Exactly. Dope.
Yeah.
Dope. Okay. What's the next question?
Okay. We'll do, if your partner's worst quality never changed, would you still love them? Why?
Ooh, if my partner's worst quality never changed. What is the worst quality? It can be anything.
I mean, I guess.
I guess they're asking the question about a worst quality. I think so. But what is the worst?
You know,
is it something like, what would you still love your partner if your partner's worst quality was every time they drank something, they would make this sipping sound?
Yes, I would.
You would still love them?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah. But if that's the worst quality, then yeah, I would love them. But if it's like, I don't know, being a bad person or like...
Fair. Okay, I didn't think that extreme.
I was like, what does worst quality mean?
Fair.
Because I'm like, I don't really think, I don't know, maybe this is sickening, but I don't really think my partner has a worst quality. You know?
This is sickening.
There's no worst quality to be found. And everything that we like have conflict on or like needs emotional growth or like whatever, we work on that and we grow. So I feel like if things that are like returning conflicts that aren't changing, I think eventually you have to part ways, because like, do you want to be fighting about the same thing forever?
Yeah.
It's a long life. Yeah. You know, like, no, but yeah, like sipping or like chewing loudly, like, yes, I will love them. And it's got to take breaks sometimes, you know, like travel around, do your separate things and then come back to each other. If you're like someone
eat dinner separately,
no,
and then eat it together. Okay, you're better than me. I mean, if it's auditory rather, if that is the annoyance, I would not be able to love them.
No.
I have a sensitivity to auditory things. Why do I keep saying auditory? What word is that? Auditory. But yeah, anything I can hear, if it's a sound of sorts, I can't get past it. No.
No, like if you love them?
No.
There's like therapies for it. You can like do the work to like try and get past it.
But then I'm doing the work.
That's important. It's your problem.
100%. But that wouldn't be the problem that I choose.
Yes.
That wouldn't be the problem. If there's a problem that I would choose a problem that's around like tidiness. Clean, but untidy is fine.
But that's not a worst trait. You're saying your worst trait is an auditory sound.
Worst trait is an auditory sound, and I would not be able to love past it. Wow. I wouldn't.
Okay.
It's too much. It's too much. Like on dating apps or like even just talking to people, if you're like a new person in my life, I have to hear what you sound like. I have to hear your voice. I know it might sound awful, but I have to hear your voice, because there's just a certain level of sound that I cannot fuck with.
No, I get that.
That I cannot fuck with at all. So like your tone has to be feel like it can rest in my body, you know, because I think also because I do a lot of listening.
That's fair. Tone of voice, yes. There are some voices, especially when you're like on TikTok, I'm like, oh God, I hate your voice so much. But now I love my partner. So yeah, I'm in it.
Yeah. And obviously you're in something right now. So the cortisol is
high.
Next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do ask each other this question a lot though, of like, would you love me if, or like that? And some things we do say no to.
Yeah.
Like, we have limits, but yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Everybody has their own limits.
Everyone has their limits. It's important to know yours.
Yeah.
And be upfront about it. Like, you're not going to date someone whose voice you hate.
No.
Because that's just unfair.
No. And it doesn't even have to be a hate. It's just like, sometimes somebody has a regular voice and when they do the whole sexy whisper thing.
Not it.
And that for me is huge because that's not just sex. It's intimacy. When you're doing your little intimate voice, if the intimate voice doesn't intimize,
that's it. Wow.
We can't do it. We can't. I mean, there's a lot of ways I find icks really easily. Sometimes I get a really like superficial ick and I'm just like, I can't get past it. I just cannot get past it. It's
we
beyond
can talk about it. No.
When it's not that deep.
Yeah.
If it's like I'm invested in building something and it's like a relationship or whatever, then yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, no, I'm talking about like just dating people and like just seeing people.
Yes.
No, the icks have been there.
Wow.
And I've kicked a lot of people out of my house. But before we get to those things, Adonis, since you're currently in a relationship,
yes.
Let us know. Give us some advice.
Wow. What is the advice? Honestly, it's like, I feel like I really liked that question of like, if you would love someone, if their worst trait never changed, because it showcases both the sides of like what like the work of a relationship is and also like what your non-negotiables are. And I feel like, I really want to reframe it. People are like, relationships take work, like, but it's not like hard work in any way, shape, or form, but it's a presence and like an accountability and a willingness to like grow and change and reflect and be reflected back. And so I feel like in some sort of like brash way, I feel like my advice is like, get over yourself.
Ooh.
And it's something I've like had to learn is like how to like actually get over myself in so many different ways. Like I'm definitely someone who like my partner will like, they're in Aries and they're great at communicating, and it's just like, and I'm a Capricorn and I'm emotionally weird and bad at communicating. And so I've really had to learn like how to communicate and what that means. And like when they are bringing something up, I used to be like, oh, it's like you're blaming me, I feel guilty, like and just like beat myself up. And that's not like conducive to what they're trying to do, and then it makes it hard for them to like talk to me.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like it's just going to be this guilt spiral, and now they have to comfort me when I need to just like listen and respond.
Yeah.
And at the same time, now that I've like kind of worked through that, and I need to like, and am working on like how to like respond and like share what I'm actually thinking and feeling, because I feel like I've been so trained and in like past situationships like taught not to like say what I feel, and I'm so quick to like discard what I think or feel because I think it's like silly or dumb or like shitty or mean or whatever. And so then because I'm not saying that, I can't actually like offer what my partner needs because I'm still like holding on to things that can't get resolved because I'm not communicating them, so that's like me and like my issues of like actually learning what communication means, and also being like, I feel like I've learned both in relationship and in like the world that like communication at the end of the day is just two people figuring out how to understand each other.
Yeah.
And so like communication doesn't have to be like clear cut, easy A, B, C done.
Yeah.
It's like the root of figuring out what the other person is saying.
Yeah.
And once you can like work and like make that like root so I feel like we have like really nice like containers for it. Like we ask like, do you feel seen? Do you feel heard? Do you feel understood? Do you feel tended to? What do we need? We try to like keep like a handhold, like a like physical touch and stay close when we're conversing. So there's not like space between you. Like you're still very present with each other.
Okay.
And work it through. And I'm learning how to like say my piece. And that's important. And you can't just like, you know, sacrifice. So like, what is like the old timey parental sacrifice for your love? Like, like we don't want any resentment brewing ever. Resentment's the death of your relationship. Don't resent, don't hold on, and like do the work and do the growth and like apply the change that needs to be applied. So you can both be happy. That's my opening advice.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. I really like that communication is about understanding what the other person is saying, because we're always going to be saying new, different things to each other, you know, and it's always changing. And I think it's so wonderful that you have the opportunity to be in a relationship that has a healthy outlook on communication, where it seems like you're talking about not only like the type of relationship that you have, but you also talk about the context of your relationship. Like, how is the relationship actually doing as a relationship, as a container? And then how are we doing as the subjects inside that container? Because I think these are two different things and we don't always have these conversations about them, especially when you have folks who, you know, we don't want to put a label on it. And there's kind of that already mismanaged same pageness of being or starting a relationship or even a situationship. I think that sometimes we look at these different types of relationships as one is less than the other. But like, you can be in a situationship and both know that you're in a situationship. Does it mean that nobody's going to catch feelings? No. But does it mean that you both know that are in a container that is precarious? Then yes, right? Like it kind of helps to support knowing the container that you're in. It doesn't automatically make the container a good container. You know, some people are married, but they shouldn't be. Some people are in relationships when they shouldn't be. So that's really awesome.
I really like that. Like the container, like knowing where you both are and being on the same page and like constantly like checking in and like loving and tending and being sweet to each other, wherever you feel like good and nice in your relationship, you know? And like, I'm also really learning and have learned like to want things. Wanting things are good. Stating what you want is good. Like at the very, very beginning, like when we first started like learning how to communicate, my partner like would like raise their voice. I was like, honestly, I was like, you actually can't yell at me. Like we can talk, we can cry, we can whisper, we can be firm, but you can't yell at me. No, thank you. And they're like, okay. And we have never yelled at each other. And I that's like a no for me. And so what are your wants? And then like actually learning what they are so you can communicate. I just think communication is like so important. And, you know, I know that sometimes I'm like, oh, like I hate communicating. My partner's like, no, don't say that. Like, I love it. I love getting to know you more and like, just like really enjoy the stickiness, but also like there doesn't have to be a lot of stickiness. Like we don't, in our first 6 months, I would say we had like a pretty big like argument every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And so after 6 months, I was like, I think we should take a break. My partner was like still picking up at me. We have different versions of the story. They say I broke up with them. I say they broke up with me. Okay. And it was like 2 weeks and I was like crying. I was listening to Lizzo and I was like, you know what? I actually don't want to be doing this. I want to get back together. And so I like met them up at a cafe and they were with all their friends. All their friends are looking at me.
Let's go support. Okay.
You know? And we went for a walk and we talked about it and they were like, okay, like I want to get back together with you, but I cannot do this on off. And I was like, okay. So from that point on, we're like committed to figuring it out, you know? that's all it is figuring it out.
Yeah.
And like returning to the reasons why you love each other, because like life changes and things change. And so we dated for 2 weeks. I went on tour for 2 months. And then we were like emailing back and forth. When I came back, we were together for 6 months, had a 2-week break, we've been together
Ever since.
And so that was like a year before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then there's a question from the audience about dating and being together in a pandemic. And it was actually really good for us.
Okay.
Because we were both really busy people. Like they were double majoring at school. I had like just dropped out double majoring. I was working full time, doing theater, doing art. They were like running events, running things. They're like a very friend focused person too. And so we didn't actually spend much time together.
Yeah.
And then because their last relationship, it was like kind of shitty. It was shitty.
Yeah.
And so me being like, can we spend more time together was like misheard as like controlling behavior. And so like let's like figure like those things out and like get on the same page.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic happened and we just like actually spend time together.
Wow.
And it was really, really nice for us. I feel like the amount of time of like 2 years like lockdown.
Yeah.
It's just saturated time is like would have been like 6 years of like time, you know, especially on the paths we were on. It was like doing so much that I'm really, really grateful for it. And we learned a lot about each other that time. We were living separately. Then we moved to Vancouver and we moved in together and lived together for the first time in a new city.
Wow.
So that was a big shift.
That's huge.
It was a big shift.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in a basement suite, which was bad for both our mental health. Like things were changing. So that was like a really big relearning each other time.
Yeah.
And both of us being accountable to our mental health and like sitting each other down and being like, look, like I think you need to like focus on this. Like you need to like this, you need to focus on this. And being able to like pull each other up. And then my partner was like, I actually think we need to move. Like I can't live in a basement suite. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. Fine, sure. But then we did. And it like mental health matters. it's hard to know. You know, you have to like be happy in yourself to be happy. And obviously like mental health is fluctuating and changing and like being happy in yourself, what does that mean? But like being out of your darkest place makes it easier to be with someone. And I think that's just kind of a fair thing to say.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's kind of been like our journey, you know, like but it's been like loving the whole time. And we come back to like softness with each other. And so I think our relationship was a very soft space for us to come to and to come back to and to be sweet and like tender to. And I think that I wouldn't say that I'm like an only child because I'm not. I have 2 older brothers, but the eldest one is 10 years older than me. The other one is 4 years older than me. And I lived with my grandparents by myself for a bit.
Yeah.
And then in like high school, I was like at home alone for like 3-4 years.
Okay.
So I feel like I've had quite a few stints of like only child time.
Yeah.
And in like my childhood being an only child time.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's something I've also learned on like, not like selfishness, but like what it actually means to think about another person.
Yeah.
And to actually have them in your mind and to like do the work to share. I'm bad at sharing. My partner loves to share. I've been working on it.
That's good.
And yeah, just really being present. I think those are all of my thoughts thus far.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so so interesting. So interesting. So much to chew on there. But kudos to you and your partner.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations on, what is it now?
5 years in June.
5 years in June.
It's been a big life, and I just love them so much, you know, and I love growing and growing with them, and just like, it's the love I've always wanted.
Aww,
yeah.
That's so sweet.
Thank you.
And this is your first relationship, you were saying, right?
Yes, it is. And I say that because like I used to, like, I went on dates here and there. I've had like situationships, but at the end of the day, I'm like not a casual dater person. I just don't really like wasting my time.
Fair.
And I like being alone. So I'd like rather be alone than date someone.
Fair.
And so I very much, like you were saying about dating online, like I do ask like big questions on the first date. Like, let's just get to the core, most important things, know if we should like continue talking.
Yeah.
Which we really did. And we had like natural chemistry, and like the first time we met, like it was through a friend, and my friend and them were running an event together. And so we just like would like keep making eye contact.
Yeah,
like,
you told us the last episode.
yeah, keep making eye contact all night. So it's just, the chemistry is there. And then just make it work from there.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, given that this is your first relationship, but obviously not your first time being connected with somebody, there's also another question in there about self-sabotage. And they asked if this episode will help them stop self-sabotaging. But I'm curious, given that you and your partner seem to be doing such a great balance of like growing and learning together and around each other and supporting one another in that way. Did you have any self-sabotage mechanisms, behaviors, habits that you feel like are mostly relationship based? And do you feel like you've, I wouldn't say worked through them, but like, worked through them or on them, or have they even shown up in this relationship for you?
That is such a great question. And like, yes, definitely. I feel like both in the like not communicating, in the guilt spirals, and just like talking yourself out of thinking you deserve a good thing, and having to not do that and to work against that because I want them more and I want to be the person that they deserve, and not letting myself like break it off or break up because I don't think I deserve it, or I don't think that this could work, or I can see all the reasons why we might break up in the future. So why even try? Like, just like a lot of internal work there, the self-sabotage of just like cutting myself down. And also like small things too of like, I think maybe this is like the selfishness of coming in of like, not of like, my therapist once asked me, if you know that they don't like it, why do you keep doing it? Like, if you know they don't like something, why do you do it? And I was like, that's a rude question. And so things like that, I think, are also like self-sabotage. Like, if you know something you're going to do is going to hurt someone, why do it? And what it means to like actually change behavior.
Yeah.
Because it's like nice and the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. Fair. I feel like my self-sabotage behavior in relationships mimics, or at least in my most recent relationship, I found that it mimicked the type of anxiety that I had being a child and growing up, and your parents coming home. I feel like the moment that my parents came home was always such an anxiety-filled moment because my mom would check if the house was spotless, and so there was always kind of this marker of checking on you and like making sure that you prioritized what they want, and that you knew also ahead of time somehow what that person wants, and that you would cater to it and for it long before they even got there. And so in my relationships, because I lived with both of my partners, there was always that anxiety, especially with my second partner, because I worked from home for the second half of our relationship. And when I would notice that whenever they were about to come home, I would get so anxious and I would get so nervous. And then I would like quickly want to make something, like have dinner prepared, or like do something big, to like do something that is an outward showcase of like, I haven't just been here wasting my time and not really giving myself the credit and or validating the fact that the work that I'm doing is work, even though it is from home or at home. And I wonder how this manifests for folks who are stay-at-home parents, stay-at-home caregivers, stay-at-home partners, stay-at-home lovers. Like, how does that, if this shows, I guess this is my question to you folks, does this show up for you if you work from home, stay, that kind of anxiety of like this expectation of like what they're representing as working hard is having left the house for 9 hours, 8 hours, whatever the case might be. But your representation is like, are you going to turn your computer and be like, look at all the emails I sent?
Yeah.
It's very, very weird. And I had to, once I realized it in that was showing up like that, I was like, I need to stop that. I need
Yeah.
to stop that. I need to stop that.
I used to do the
Completely.
same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've worked from home almost our entire relationship, and now I'm kind of working out of the house more. And they've always worked out of the house, and now we're kind of like switching. And I felt the same way. I was like, oh, you're coming home. Like, I haven't done anything. I haven't cleaned. I haven't like made dinner. Like, because I've been working. But they were both like, I don't care. Like, I know you're working. You can trust me. Like, I don't need you to do anything. You don't have to do anything at all. You don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. Like, chill out. And then for me to also do the internal work of like, okay, like that is a parental wound, like da da da. And sometimes also like when we talk about our day, we do just like show each other every tiny detail, everything that we did. Because that's fun. We do, yeah. Like, here we go. And I like make my own like to-do list. And I also have like, I have a to-do list. And then I have a, here's what I actually did. And I write down everything I did today, just like for myself as well.
I like that.
And validating that I worked hard and I don't have to do anything. And like housework and the monetary work are two different things for right now. And we do the housework like together, and we kind of built our routines also, so that they work, and we like have a way of doing like they do the dishes, I empty the dishwasher. Sometimes we like switch just like to switch it up, but like that's the like routine that we have. What we need to make the dishes nice. We have like gloves, like like we make the thing, we do the dishes after dinner, which like we had to build the routine to make everything happen and live the life that we need, but. It's tough. It's a tough parental wound, but it's okay. You are enough as you are. If you did nothing for the rest of your days, your partner will still love you. And if they wouldn't, yikes.
Yikes. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we answer one more question?
Let's answer one more question. How do you stop dating whiteys? Or some reflection on this.
Whitey. If you're a whitey, everything for you, something like that. If you're a blackie, then nothing for you. TikTok. How do you stop? I think you need to revisit why you started. I think you need to revisit why you started, because that's what I revisited when because I have, no offense to all the white people that might be attracted to me, but I've stopped dating white people, and I will stop, and I will know I'm not coming back into it. Okay, that would be my answer to this. So how to stop dating whiteys? Number one, revisit why you started. Revisit what your ideology is around why you started dating white people. And I think we have, some of us might not be aware of it, but we have our own motivations for why we're dating certain folks. And for most of us, for white people, because obviously colonization, Eurocentrism, let's get into it, right? So revisit that. Number two, I would say if you are thinking about dating white folks, like, think about how much they know about you, or how much they would likely know about you, where you're from, your people, like, and wherever that is. It doesn't have to be that you're from Africa. It doesn't have to be that you're from South Africa, whatever the case is, or Haiti, or the Caribbean. It doesn't have to be that, because it's not just black people who are dating white people, but like, see if they like where you're from, even if you're in Brooklyn, if you're from America, like, does this person have context about you? Do they know about you, where you're from, so that when you tell them something about yourself, it's not always a wow, what is that? Whoa, oh my gosh, shock, horror, oh my gosh, learning. Because then it turns you into a teacher, and you don't want to teach in your relationship when you're doing all of the other work that Adonis was talking about earlier that they're doing in their partnership, right? Like to add this level of like constantly educating you about my identity is tough. And it's something that you do. It's something that you do take on when you're dating white folks. And I'm speaking just about dating white folks in particular from my experience. So those would be my three things. It's like that, and they're all just as important. They're all just as important because what I found in my relationships dating non-white folks, which I still find dating Black people, for example, is you have to be able to courageous enough, strong enough in like an internal sense as well to advocate for your own identity and how you self-express and how you show up, right? So you have to know, oh, I like putting art up on the walls, for example. It seems like something like frivolous, but when you get into a relationship with somebody who has a strong opinion about how they want to decorate something, for example, regardless of what the motivation is, you also have to be able to have your own strong opinion, whether it's the same or not, and advocate for that. And I find in these interracial relationships that comes up quite a bit, and you have to be able to do that, because what happened to me in my first interracial relationship is I erased a lot of my Black identity. I stopped being as Black as I could be. I tried to be as non-Black as I could be, right? To kind of hide and cover. I didn't have the courage and the strength and somebody to talk to me and say, wait a minute, the way that you self-express and your identity is important. So bring that into your relationship and bring that up in your relationship as much as you can, because your identity is going to shift and change continuously. That has to be a conversation that you're willing to have. These cultural components are also really important. Following your cultures and your traditions might not be important, but the fact that there are cultural and traditional components in your life, in your upbringing, even in your past, are important to talk about, because we subconsciously carry these things forward as we're building families and raising kids, or even just having a home, and whatever your family looks like. These things are always there. They're always showing up. The parent wound shows up in your relationships. So all these other things can show up in your relationships as well. I think it's not necessarily about not dating white people. I think it's about putting yourself in the best situation where you feel like you're dating somebody who can understand you, so you can feel seen, heard, and understood, and at the end of the day, loved in a 360 way that allows you to revolve and evolve, but also somebody who's willing to be curious about you. Like, if it wasn't for colonization, we might not know as much about white people, so that might be a bit more of a balanced situation. But because of colonization, we've had to know so much about Black people. So much about white people. We've had to know so much about them. We've learned their language. Some of us can only speak their language. So that, I think for me, that's the crux of it, really.
That's a great crux. That's amazing. Yeah, I've never dated a white person despite all the white childhood crushes I just told you all. Never done it, but I was also like, I feel like my family and like my aunts were all like, don't date white people. So I had a different conditioning from youth. Of being like, don't do it. And then when I was single for a while, they were like, maybe you should.
They said, maybe this is your only time.
Maybe.
We know we told you not to do it, but it seems like everything is saying
Try. You can do it. Yeah, I've done it, but I feel like I like everything you said of like, why? Like, what is it that calls you to them? What are they giving you? Like, what is that? And like, also maybe what are you like avoiding as well within that?
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen lots of interracial dynamics where like there's a power both that can be wielded against the white person, but also the way white people wield power over you, and like maybe it's like a comfortable dynamic that like you're used to, but you deserve liberation. If that's not liberating space for you, and it totally can be like whatever, blah blah blah. But if that's not a liberating space for you and you don't want to do it, then like push out and just see what else happens, and like be okay to be uncomfortable and try new dynamics and see what can be born. You deserve it. Yeah.
And I think also, I guess my fourth one that I would add is like have these conversations. If you are in a relationship with a white person, have these conversations. For me, I think that's what I would judge. Is like, are you okay to have these race conversations around, particularly around race? And obviously, if your partner says you make everything about race, you need to run. But it's important to have those conversations, very important to have those conversations because of what we know society does, right? And especially if you're, somebody who sees yourself having children, biological children, with your partner, if that's something that you can do, it's really important, to have these types of conversations. And if you're shying away from the conversations now, there's no way that having a kid is going to make it better. There's no way. It's going to make it 10 times worse. And also you're doing yourselves a disservice because you're not preparing. And I think this is, oh my God, I have so much to say. I think this is the thing as well about dating in general, but dating interracially or even interculturally or intertribally, depending on how intense the environment that you're in sees these kinds of identities. You have to prepare. You have to prepare. You said it already. Communication is the preparation to make sure that you know how to understand each other and you can understand the other person. When you're building a relationship, when you're working yourself, you're preparing for a relationship. When you're about to have a kid, you have to prepare. And these conversations and talking about this is really important. You have to talk about everything. The title, what is going on, what is not going on, what was happening, what's no longer happening. Everything has to be on the table, and it doesn't have to be this like, you want to turn me into or whatever. Unfortunately, sorry, this is not a jab at you, but like in terms of communication, because I'm also a Capricorn, I don't really communicate that much about my feelings with my partners, but
keep them down.
just keep them down. I'm fine, don't worry about it, and then turn around and cry quietly. But but it's important to talk about these things, because over time, more and more things that you go through with each other, especially like when the lockdown was happening at the beginning of the pandemic. Sometimes you'll have situations where life puts you in a confined or distant space. So if you treat every aspect as a preparation for whatever, it doesn't have to be a preparation for a thing, but as the fact that you're preparing for something, I think it might even shift the kind of perspective that feels like this overbearing work and weight of a relationship. Because it is work. It is definitely work. And some people make it easy, like you fortunately have. And some people, and you are that some person sometimes, make it absolutely difficult.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
I love that. I'm fine reminded me of a story. Like one of the, dating someone will humble you. And I think like 2 years in, they were like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm fine. And I like stood up into the wall and I was like, empty walls. And they're like, oh yeah, you're fine. Like, why are you and I was like, you know what? Meant like, I did not really realize that I was doing that. But when you call it out so clearly, it's hilarious. And so when I say get over yourself, like if you can't laugh at yourself doing that, it's just like, calm down. But that's what to do with dating white people. That's just Capricorns.
Yeah, that's just.
I'm fine.
Yeah. But I'm a Cap Sun, so I don't get it as intensely.
Yeah, I'm also a Cap Sun.
Sorry, I'm a Cap Rising. I'm a Cap Rising.
Yes, I'm a Cap Sun. Yeah. I got a Libra moon, so I'll find the balance.
I've got a Cancer moon.
Oh, wow. And a Pisces sun. The emotions.
Just emotions taking me over.
The Capricorn rising's like, I can control it.
Lost in the sun. But if you don't come back, come home to me, darling. Don't you know there's nobody left in this world to kiss goodnight? Don't you know there's nobody left in this world to... I forgot the words. Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you for your questions.
Those were
Really
such good
riveting.
questions. Thank
They were
you.
such good. We're trying to keep these short, but y'all, this was such a juicy conversation.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Sound on Siren podcast. I'm Adonis Critter King.
And I'm Mbali Blooming.
And you can listen to us on anywhere you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, not SoundCloud.
I don't think they do SoundCloud.
No, is this Spotify, Apple Music? Are there three?
And there's Pocket Casts, everywhere. Google Podcasts. We're on every podcasting platform.
Everywhere you get your podcasts, we will be there. You can also follow us on...
You can follow us on Instagram and on TikTok at Sound on Siren Pod or Podcast. And you can also watch us on YouTube. Our YouTube page has changed.
Woo!
It is now all exclusively about the podcast. And it's now called Sound on Siren Podcast. But everything will be in our link tree or the bio in whatever description page you are on. Awesome. Until next time.
Until next time.
Love confidently.
Oh.